Justin Trudeau. He's the poster boy for liberalism. He is the realization of the liberal dream. But what you may not know is that Justin Trudeau is currently embroiled in a huge political scandal. I mean, it is huge. It's like Watergate huge, but for Canada. So first of all, I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to read this because I want to get it just right. So Justin Trudeau's AG, Jody Wilson-Raybould, is accusing Justin Trudeau of improperly pressuring her to drop the prosecution of a large engineering firm in Canada. Now, here is specifically who she's accusing pressured her. His chief of staff, Katie Telford, former principal secretary Gerald Butts, who's already resigned in disgrace, senior aides Matthew Beauchard, Elder Marquez, the finance minister Bill Mariano, and his chief of staff Ben Chin. So what these people wanted her to do was prevent the prosecution of a large Canadian engineering firm over accusations of fraud and bribery. So first of all, this is what this company is accused of. Let's get it really right. The company, SNC-Lavalin, based in Montreal, is accused of paying $48 million worth of bribes to Libya, to Muammar Gaddafi's family from 2001 to 2011 to secure lucrative contracts. They pretty much paid the dictator's family in order to maintain contracts. And Justin Trudeau, with knowledge of this, with this company admitting to this, was pressuring his AG, and all of his senior advisors were pressuring his AG to drop prosecution of the case. And this is why, and this is what the people in Canada have figured out why he wanted this to happen. If SNC-Lavalin was prosecuted, they would be barred from bidding for federal contracts, which would severely hurt Justin Trudeau's re-election campaign because quite a few jobs come from this company, almost 9,000, and in the Liberal stronghold, 3,400 in Quebec. So he didn't want this to happen. He didn't want his re-election in the fall to be based off of him not only losing this major company, but having no longer being able to rely on that specific Liberal stronghold. So he tried to pressure his AG into dropping the charges. The former Attorney General, in fact, identified a series of phone calls and meetings between her or her staff and Trudeau and his several top advisors. In all of them, Trudeau or his staff is pressuring her to reevaluate her charges, to reevaluate where she stood with the company. Now, as if this wasn't bad enough, once it was clear that she wasn't going to do anything else or reevaluate, he decided to move AG Wilson-Raybould from Canada's Justice Department to Veterans Affairs. So he tried to move her to a different department to shut her up, which is silencing. So now she's pretty much blown the whistle on it, and there's been testimony, witnesses have been called. She is pretty much putting him through the ringer. And she's one of the only Indigenous cabinet members. So you can imagine Liberal Canadian media is all over this, but interestingly enough, American media is not all over this. And the reason why is if Justin Trudeau either steps down or doesn't win re-election in the fall, it will mark the end to the last major Liberal ideological stronghold. Let me explain what I mean. With England, technically you have a Conservative in charge. It's not a Liberal in charge, so technically they're in the Conservative side. With Brazil, you have a Conservative. Austria, you have a Conservative. Angela Merkel has suffered humiliating losses in Bavaria, and her coalition has fallen apart. You have Trump in the U.S., and Macron is pretty much just hiding in his palace because of the Yellow Vest protesters. So Canada was really like the last ideological Liberal stronghold, and it's falling apart. Because not only is Justin Trudeau falling apart, but his coalition, his Liberal majority, is now sinking in the polls because of his actions and the actions of his senior advisors. And not only this, Justin Trudeau's senior aide, Bouchard, at one point actually said bluntly to the Attorney General, "We can have the best policy in the world, but we need to get reelected." So there has been a coordinated effort by the officials in Justin Trudeau's cabinet and Justin Trudeau himself to stop the prosecution of this company that paid Gaddafi's family almost, I think, $48 million over and over and over again. So what this really means for the U.S. and why it's important is because Senator Spartacus and Elizabeth Warren and Harris and all of the other ones who are popping up always point to Canada as like the pinnacle of the liberal dream realized. So next time Senator Spartacus is talking in Iowa or New Jersey or wherever, people should ask him if he thinks the pinnacle of the realization of the liberal dream is having your prime minister pressure your attorney general not to pursue charges against a corrupt company so you can keep your liberal voting stronghold and not lose re-election in the fall. He should be asked that. And Senator Harris and Senator Warren should be asked why, if Justin Trudeau is such a friend to minority communities, he's such a feminist, then why is he trying to smear his AG, who is one of the only Indigenous cabinet members and a woman, through the mud for simply doing her job and putting justice above political interests? And furthermore, if Justin Trudeau somehow manages to survive this in the coming weeks, which he might not because of the testimony that keeps coming in, Justin Trudeau's party will, at the least amount of impact, lose their majorities. So the Conservatives in Canada, the moderates of Canada might actually get a chance to stop having these far-left people in charge of that great country. So going into 2020, I want people who are involved in the campaign, people who are volunteering, to really ask Senator Spartacus, Senator Harris, Senator Warren, if they think the realization of the liberal ideological dream is pressuring your AG to drop corruption charges against a company so you don't lose your voting stronghold in the city. If they think that Justin Trudeau's actions against an Indigenous woman who is one of the highest cabinet officials was okay, and if they think the people and the voters of Canada should just go along with it and forgive him because it's more dangerous to have a Conservative in office. Because I'm going to bet that's what they're going to say, just like they said with Northam and just like what they said with Herring and the Lieutenant Governor. They tried to play the whole Conservatives are more dangerous than the worst type of liberal. Well, these main people campaigning for 2020 should be asked if they still think Justin Trudeau is the realization of the liberal dream. Thank you, and please like and share this video everywhere because Justin Trudeau is in serious trouble and Twitter's not talking about it.